translations are different.
I'm Danny's mayor, baby.
Yeah. You have a good investment.
Welcome to Yeshiva Daf. We're holding in Menachos Daf Lamed Ches, starting the Perek of Tchelis. Talk about Tchelis. I think we'll learn the Daf first, and then we will focus a little bit on the Indian of Tchelis and how it came about in recent generations. So the Mishnah, Hatchelis eino me'akeves esalov. The Tchelis, which means the strings of Tchelis, are not me'akev the lovan, which are the white, because Tzitzis has Tchelis and it has lovan. Now lovan eino me'akev Tchelis. You can have white without Tchelis. You can have white without Tchelis. You can have Tchelis without white. Tefillin sheyad eino me'akev sharosh. Sharosh should give it sheyad. You can have tefillin sharosh without tefillin sheyad. Tefillin sheyad without tefillin sharosh. Now, there is if you see a very long Taisus over here, but the sheet of Rashi and Taisus is how many strings of white and how many strings of blue, of Tchelis you need to have. Rashi and Taisus hold you're supposed to have 2 of each. Now the way the Tzitzis works, you take, there's 4 strings, you fold them into half, turns it to 8. Yeah. So you have 2 white, 2 blue. So basically once you fold it into half, you'll have 4 strings that are white and 4 strings that are blue. That's how Rashi and Taisus learn. The Rambam learns differently. The Rambam learns that you have a half a string blue, which means you could, once you fold it, you will have 1 blue and 7 white. That's the big machlokes. There's no she doesn't even show him. That's the big machlokes Rashi Taisus against the Rambam. Taisus over here, the long Taisus come to speak about this 2 and the 2. Why is it 2 and 2? Why it's not 3 and 1? Why it's how do you get to that? But this Indian of 2 and 2, that's how Rashi Taisus learns. That's they do. Okay, now.
Wait, but today they do this 2 because
it depends. There's
the
some
long
changes. There's the places, the Ravid, how you tie it, but in the strings, the Rambam places.
So they have the different shittas. Okay. So the one name is Nisim, the loy kirebi. How much is not like Rebbe? If Rebbe holds you to have white and blue, and if you have one without the other, it doesn't work. You can either have either or. The konaf, meaning, so that we talk about the same type of the konaf. The konaf usually, as we'll see later in the Gemara, is that the konaf speaks about the beged. And the beged usually, what is the beged? The beged is the beged is made out of, is white. So the white is the same type of the beged. That's the beged. Then you have, that's mean konaf. V'chti psil tchelis. And then it says tchelis as well. Omachmona v'risim oy soy. Adikat abai, you have to have both. Atei b'chad, together. V'rabon v'risim oy soy kol chad l'chud mashma. So the big machlok is, do you have to have both or not? Says the Gemara, lema do like Rebbe. So Chorah Mishnah that says you can't have either or is not like Rebbe. Now, how do we paskin on halacha l'maisa? So most Rishonim agree that we paskin that you can have either or, and that's what we do today. Most people don't have tchelis; you have only white. How you eat with white if you don't have tchelis? Because we all tchelis ain't no makav salav, so we all do not have it. But the issue is the Balamor. The Balamor holds that you cannot have tchelis without love, and you can't have love without tchelis. You can't have it.
Isn't the tchelis a special blue that you don't have to?
Yeah, and therefore today that we don't have the tchelis, you don't wear tzitzis to the Balamor. Because the Balamor, you can't have one without the other. If I don't have one, I don't have the other. So I'm not going to have tzitzis. So that's the shidduch. The shidduch is yachid. What?
Wear abakamfas.
You don't wear four.
You don't wear abakamfas.
You make sure not to wear it.
We only wear voluntarily. Most people don't wear 4-corner.
But it's a problem. In other words, I'm not sure if what happens if you're stuck. You have nothing else to wear. I'm not sure. But there's a one shidduch we share in this way. Most Rishonim disagree. We pass it like obviously that we say white without the blue, but that's saying it. Says the Gemara, you could say our Mishnah is Rebbe. So what does it mean you can have white without blue? Question is the right order. First you should have, when you put the strings into the beged, first put the white ones, and then put the blue. If you did blue before the white, you're yotzeh. Rashi says, well, what's the marker? Because it says hakonaf, meaning konaf, that's the white, and then it says psil tchelis. So the order is white and then blue. If you did the opposite, so yotzo. El shechitza mitzvah, he's missing a mitzvah. So the Gemara, my chitza mitzvah means missing a mitzvah. Tell him chitza on base. Ila mechitza mitzvah the lovon v'kiyim mitzvah the tcheles. I mean, he's missing because he did it in the wrong order, so he doesn't have the mitzvah. So well, the Rebbe could make that you can't have one without the other. Meaning, he's missing the mitzvah of the order, but he did the mitzvah tzitzis. My chitza mitzvah, the mitzvah bin amuvcha, he didn't do the perfect mitzvah, he didn't do the right order. So that's what it means over here. Einu me'akev. Einu me'akev means even though you have a certain order, it's not me'akev to do the wrong order. So I understand now. That's what it means. The second part of the Mishnah. The lovon is now me'akev at chelas, which means really it should be the lovon first, then at chelas. But lovon is not me'akev. You did chelas first, you're okay. But what's the first part of the Mishnah? Chelas the me'akev is the lovon. He says the blue doesn't stop you from the white. Yeah, because the order is to put white first. So what does it mean that chelas is not me'akev the lovon? What happens if you have a talis that's all blue? 100% blue. So now what? So what if it's all blue? So the idea is that there, the one says min kodav. It has to be like this. We said kodav min kodav, the color of the beged. The more understand that then you have to put chelas first.
So meaning the Israeli army can wear khaki green tzitzis?
Yeah, that's a different color. But what you have to put is, if you have a beged which is chelas, the first thing you put in is the chelas, then you put the white.
One hole or two?
And one hole. Pashas. They call him Aryuch. Aryuch is the name of a king. Because Shmuel was a lochik Moishe V'dinis, so we call him the king, as Rashi points out. Don't sit on your feet. It's another nekuda that's brought down, chido, that they would sit down, they would learn standing. She says, don't sit down. Explain the following thing. We don't care about the order. Meaning when you have sadin b'tzitzis, usually sadin b'tzitzis means when you're putting wool into linen. Rashi says over here, and that's what Tais agrees with Rashi, here's not talking about necessarily wool into linen, talking putting into a white beged. The mitzvah of doing lovin b'reishu, the white should be first. My time, not konof, min konof, if they have the same color of the beged. If he did blue first, lace on I have no problem. I understand. The lovon is not ma'akev at chelas. So I understand because you have to do lovon first, then chelas. It's not ma'akev. Chelas deinu ma'akev is a lovon. Exactly same question you're asking. Blue before white. Mahi. If the beged is chelas, then what's the din? Mitzvah doing chesberation. Then you should do blue first. Why? That konav min konav has to be the same color as the beged. If you had them lower beration, if you did white first, it's not going to be a problem. So that's the first answer of the Gemara. According to this, that we're talking that the beged should put chayot to put blue first. Do you go based on color? What do you mean, based on color? Yeah. So Rashi says, the way Rashi learns is, because roiv, the talisos are white, and the third just said, do it minakonov, just telling you should always do white first, regardless of the color of the beged. Toysa disagrees. Toysa, the Shidduch Kubet says, they want to say the pshat is that he says the fact that it says akodim mikonov, he says the Rosh of Toysis. I'll say for the Shidduch Kubet says. He says I feel called Chesda mitzvah like Lovon. How do you know Lovon goes first? Because it says mitzvah la'agdim Lovon atcheles. Tais has a little different drasha. He says that the mikon of the crow is talking about, because we're talking about, I don't remember, okay. Very simple. The pasuk is not talking about tcheles. Why? Because it says min konof, and then it says tcheles. So much for the beged is not tcheles, because it says min konof. So min konof means you do the color of the konof, and that's tcheles. So the Torah is not talking about a beged of tcheles. So Rashi says just because of roiv. Torah says not because of roiv, because that's the case of the Torah. Very good. Says the Gemara, Elo marova lo nitzuch elo legardumi. Gardumi means cut. If the strings were cut down, he gardum tchelis kai lova. He gardum lova mit chai tchelis leistambo. Meaning, Rebbe holds you need to have both white and the tchelis. But if you put in the white tchelis and it got cut and you have only small leftovers, you're good. That's good enough. Leftover tchelis is good enough. By when you put for the hazors, for the sprinkling. The kama shir gadum, what is the shear they need to have? Enough to make a knot, make a slip knot. They make a knot with all the strings together. Each one on his own, we'll take it. If it's very thick, and you can make it out of it. But if it would be thin, it would be able to do a knot out of them. It's better when it's thicker because then you can see it clear. What's the idea? Even though it's only a little bit left, it's still good enough. Halacha ma'aseh for us, when you have the tzitzis cut off, as long as you have a little bit left, you assume it's good enough because we know that the chut is one long one. Have a little bit left, you know this string is still there. Says the Gemara, Mantane, the polygalate, the Rebbe and holds, you can have either or. So I tell you, the Tani Bitzu Koyim Mishom, no so Shom Shom Yisek Lili, Shom Shom Yechum Menuri, Ein Lo Tcheles, Mati Lovon. You have no Tcheles, you put Lovon, that is good enough. Says the Gemara, now, one last thing we'll see today. The fact that you're saying if the tzitzis was cut, so it's still kosher, meaning you have to make many knots. When you have the tzitzis, so you have in the tzitzis, you do for us 7, 8, 11, 13. Each one between you do its own knot. Why? Because these have leftovers kosher. Once you cut it, and once it opens up, everyone understands that the knot opened up as well. It got cut together with, and there's only a little bit left. So you're left with what? With a kesher. So that kesher, the kesher is open. So you have the strings of tzitzis are completely not connected together. Says the Gemara. So if they're not connected, so there's no knot, and you must be together. What puts it together? So what the Dilma the Ikta. No, in any case there was a knot, an additional knot. But you don't have to have an additional knot. You see here that the kesher is you need to have it, right? Even if you can keep it without it. So, because if not, why do I need to have a limud that we learned throughout Shas that in talis, tzitzis, you could have kilayim, you could have wool linen together. Why you need it? When you put linen and wool together, you do it with one slip knot. You don't actually tie it together, so it's not a problem. So why would the Torah have to tell you there's a problem? Let's try not do it. So I mean the word about this agavuch. We mentioned the knot, so you should know that knot you must have. Now here it says kesher elyon. What's a kesher elyon? So Rashi tells us here kesher elyon means the last knot. You make many knots. That's the last one before it spreads out to the 8 strings. That's the right. That's the one you must have. That last one. Rashi brings Rashi in a different place that says kesher elyon is loshen elyon, the first one on top, the first knot you do. So machlik is what it is. There's enough comedians regarding that.
That's usually the one that opens up.
Right. So that the question is maybe do you rely on the one before that? But as long as you have one last one, that should be good enough. But that's part of the discussion. Just want to end that we're talking about tchelis. It's the parak of tchelis. So already it's brought down in the time the Midrashim, in the time of the Amoraim, already they didn't know what tchelis is. Tchelis is a stab of chilazon, a stab of snail. It comes out, we'll see later in our Gemara, in our Parak, comes out of the sea once every 70 years. And they didn't know what it is. So they're already there, they had confusion. There was very few people that knew what it was. Even at the time of Amoraim, the Joshua bring, they didn't know what it is. Then it brought down, later generations came out, the Pascha, the Rishonim, and with Arizal, the Pikubalim, we don't wear tchelis. Because we don't know what tchelis is. So was all the generation. That's what it was. I think it was about 100 and something years ago. The Red Zinner, he felt that he needs to find Tchilas, and he went to Italy. He went down there. They had this aquarium to go down, and he saw some kind of snail, and that snail makes blue color, and he felt based on that he was a big chacham that was in it, so he came to the conclusion that is the Tchilas of Chazal. There was a lot of problems with his theory. Number one problem was that the Tchilas is it says there that it goes only 170 years, and that snail is something which is out there. So big problem with what he said.
It's an aquarium. They distort it.
No, it was in the sea. I mean, the aquarium, they had like this, this thing you go down the sea. The Maisa, he was a yochid. He was an individual. He was only one that agreed with the Tchilas. All the G'dei disagree with him, and the Aruch HaShulchan and they brought down the Chazon Ish. They said clearly we don't follow that because we never, in order to come and change tradition, the Messiah, you need to have all G'dei come together, or the majority come and say, no, this is what it is. So that's why most people don't wear the Tchilas because we don't rely.
There's a problem if you wear fake Tchilas.
So here comes the thing. The Shah, we'll get to that later in the Gemara. Kala Elon. The Maisa, they asked the person, why not wear it? Or skate? What is the Tchilas? You're coloring the wool.
Well, if you wear a blue garment, maybe not such a shayla.
No, and here you talk about you using this, and you say if this is the Tchilas good, if not just blue color. So that's a shot. That's a question. Do we bother or not? Maybe to get into the inyoni that you think it's Tchilas, not Tchilas. L'maisa, the all goes back to that same nekudo that Sarah Mercedes. Meaning, it's not that we know what he's talking about. It's not like you said. There's something which I'm not sure if it's Tchilas or not. This Tchilas is that snail, the most G'dei did not feel it.
What they're saying now is not the Regina. There's a Regina. Then there was something, the cuttlefish, which was disproved. And then there's this third one, which is...
Yeah, there's another one, new one.
The one that now is the muse, is not the Regina one.
Fancy saying it was back in Israel.
Then there was something called cuttlefish, which was disproved by almost everybody. I think, I don't know if it was Slavi or something else. And then the one I have now, the musus truncus, whatever it is. And I heard, when I was looking at the drasha, there were three. So one person, some people feel it definitely is. Some people, like Rishon Reisen, feel it's definitely not. And some people feel it definitely is. But since we don't have a Messiah, you don't use it.
Here.
That's
so that one I didn't know the last one.
I just heard the last one also now.
Yeah.
Because some people said it definitely is, but we don't have a Messiah.
So Chazal did not know what it is. It's hard to, you never know. But so it's a very interesting thing, and this will stop. We'll end here. We'll continue tomorrow. I'll be giving you the shiur.